Hey everybody, how's it going? Papa Big Bear here. Um, Ever had to lead a plan you hated? Here's how to own it anyway. All right, so this comes straight from Chapter 9, Dichotomy of Leadership. Again, as always, I do have the book here. Obviously, you can see it's really worn down because I have read it multiple times. It's normally a staple in my backpack, okay? And if you know me, I don't go anywhere without my backpack. So, um, for my soldier, go buy this book, Dichotomy of Leadership. All right, buddy. All right. Um, as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that noti bell for me if you're on YouTube to stay updated with all the content that I'll be dropping here. This is our mini series that we are doing on leadership, uh, otherwise known as Let's Talk About Leadership, right? That's bi weekly, and then weekly we will be doing on Monday, mental Mondays. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day, and we're just going to go ahead and get into it. So today's topic, straight from chapter 9, is a leader and a follower. Okay, let me read something here. The chapter centers on a SEAL operation where Leif Babin, one of the book's writers, had to lead his platoon while adhering to orders from higher ups he didn't fully agree with. To say the tension was real. He needed to execute the mission with conviction as a leader, while respecting the authority above him as a follower. In this duality, the thing to focus on in any capacity, whether civilian or military, is the overall big picture. Key takeaway is that leadership isn't just about calling shots, it's about navigating the dual role of directing and aligning. And in this case, in this instance, we're talking about aligning your commander or your NCO or your manager, supervisor, whoever, whatever their intent is, aligning with how you, as the leader, perceive that the mission should go, or the project or whatever you're doing should go, right? And how it should go. Okay. That's what aligning that means. And as NCOs in the military, if you are watching this and you're from the military, at a certain level, you should start to already understand your commander's intent. Usually at that E6 E6 range, you should start to already get that big picture in your mind, be able to disseminate that down to the lowest level so that everybody understands it real Barney style, like, right? um that's what that means. Okay, so topic or point number one, we're going to go with lead with conviction even when following. As a leader, you may not control the orders, but you can control how you execute them. Show strength, not resentment. In this instance, that's pretty cut and clear, and that also brings us back to our other video where we're trying to control just what we can control, which is being able to lead from a point of strength, right? Not point number two, influence up, don't just obey blindly, right? Um, there are a lot of yes men in the world, and unfortunately, they get a lot of looks only because certain people do not know how to lead properly. So in that instance, when a leader is wanting you to do everything just blindly, just hey, do this, do that, do that, and they're giving you all the direction and you're just going along with it, you are essentially becoming a yes man, and you're not asking the why question. I know as children we were always taught, whether for whatever reason it may be, don't ask why, right? Don't ask why. I mean, simple enough, yeah, but at the same time, this is going to sound kind of weird, but why is the why important, right? It becomes much more clear, especially in like a manager or a supervisor role, just because, again, having your knowing your commander or your manager or your supervisor's intent, that's the big picture. You need to know the why so you can understand where they're coming from and how, so you can start to navigate these lanes to get to that point, right? Good leaders push back respectfully when it matters, right? And we're saying respectfully because there are a lot of times, and I will tell you right now, I'm at fault of this too. I've done this in my career, whether on the civilian side or the military side, and hey, look, I was wrong. I was wrong in those instances, and I'll always be wrong moving forward. Um, but being respectful about it, not just kind of losing your mind about things, right? Because That is not the right way to go. And as we talked about, I believe it was in mental Monday video. Um, I personally don't take disrespect very well, and I know other people don't as well. So be respectful about it. Push back a little bit when it comes to that, but don't go all out and don't get crazy, right? Ask, and here's that word again. Ask why, to align, not to undermine. Great leaders shape the plan they follow. Okay, kind of understand that. So we're talking about, that's that navigation thing we're doing again, right? So you as the leader in whatever capacity you may be in, um, need to align how you want to lead the project or the mission to how to your commander or your supervisor or manager's intent and how to get that done, right? Because sometimes they might just say, hey, we need to go get this done. Okay, well, you need certain pieces of information, so maybe pry that out of them. And if it may, it may make you mad that like you didn't give you whatever, or it may just be, hey, that's kind of stupid, I don't like that. Don't do that. Just straight up don't do that. Like, we understand sometimes, it might be dumb, but there is a bigger picture at hand, and I think we just need to step back a little bit and realize that. So again, going on to point 3, point out when the mission or policy feels off, it's your job to connect it to something your team cares about. Pretty cut and dry there, right? So again, aligning and then making it something that your people underneath you, and maybe it might just be you, but making sure that you understand the why, so that you will care about it just as much as your manager, and just as much as your supervisor or your NCO or your LT or any of that jazz may want you to care about it, or how they care about it, right? Translate the what into a why your team can really rally behind, right? Um, I think that just is so well profound and so well thought out, by the writers of this book, Jocko and Leif. They really nailed that one on the head. Um, Number 4, balance loyalty up and down. You're loyal to your boss and your team. Don't sacrifice one for the other, right? Because they go hand in hand. Without them, you wouldn't have a team to lead, right? Don't get complacent and just be like, oh, this person that's leading me to lead the troops knows everything that I need to know and everything like that. Sometimes you might need to go get some outside information. Sometimes you may need to go do an extra thing to be able to lead properly and lead your soldiers, or lead your people, your Joes at work, whatever the case may be, right? Um, so just remember that it's not trying to please up and forgetting about the people under you. Do this, but the people underneath you are what gets the are what get the job done. Okay, um, and you being that strong leader that they can depend on and count on, that's extremely critical. Okay. Um, Tip: vent up if you must, but lead down with unity. Your team watches your attitude, right? So when we get into the venting situation here, now it's, and again, like I told you earlier, I'm guilty of this. I've definitely said some stuff to the Joes. Probably shouldn't have said that, because it created animosity and resentment towards a group of individuals that are higher than myself. And that was wrong of me. 100% on me. And I'm guilty of it. And I know a lot of people are. Okay. We do this all the time. We're just humans. We make mistakes. But don't do it, because they will emulate you. They're, for all intents and purposes, coming from a military standpoint, a lot of these soldiers are young, man. They're impressionable. So you're trying to put your best foot forward. Sometimes it may slip out, but you just got to remember that. You got to take that step back. Be like, okay, when you're starting to get in that mood, like, oh, you're talking whatever, talking mad shit. Don't do it. Don't do it in front of the Joes. Just like, don't have an argument in front of the Joes. Don't have an argument in front of your subordinates, because with an upper higher manager, that just creates resentment and it creates animosity that doesn't need to be there, because then it devalues the leader that's higher than you, and it creates instability and an environment of no trust. and we don't want that. Okay. Tip number 5, real world grit. Use the SEAL vibe. In combat, you don't debate the war. You win the fight in front of you. Whether civilian or military, focus on what you can control. Crush it. Again, that's going back to the other leadership video, right? Because in that video we were talking about, hey, control what you can fix currently. You have this little area of influence, right? Control that, do what you can with that, but don't let the Joes see you get out of control or get out of, you know, going and talking bad about your manager, your supervisor, or your NCO, or whatever the case may be. Just don't let it happen, because they will emulate it, and that's not controlling the situation. That's creating chaos, right? And we don't want chaos. We want controlled and smooth. And as we've all been taught before, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. It's kind of that same concept, right? So just try not to get so heavily invested in things that could be perceived by younger individuals or just your subordinates in general, doesn't matter the age, that could be turned into animosity, because that will turn out to be bad. Okay. um I know, quicker, shorter video. I'm trying to get these. I'm reading and stuff like that. Right? I'm reading. But to end it out here, next time you're stuck following, lead harder. Your team's counting on it. Right. So again, I appreciate you guys watching this video, and I appreciate you guys hanging in there. Yeah, if you guys could, that'd be so great. If you guys could like, subscribe, and leave comments if you want. Tell me how I'm doing. That would be amazing. Um, I love seeing some of like how you guys been interacting with my videos. Hopefully, it's helping a lot of you. Hopefully, I can inspire the younger generation, because I know that from my standpoint, especially in the military, it feels almost like a lost art that we aren't really educating our soldiers on how to be leaders anymore. And maybe that's just my perspective, but I do feel like these are some lessons and things that I could have definitely benefited from when I was a young soldier, and even just younger in business. So I really hope that you guys are taking something from this, and I will be seeing you on the next one. All right, love you guys. Bye.